What's good, beautiful people? I'm the Black Thumb, and this is my man's
Ayati.
And welcome to OK Bet Podcast, the podcast where two homies come together to catch up and talk about life, food, music, sports, entertainment, and so much more.
Yeah, this podcast is for the casual human being. So, if it's wild or it's kind of trending or make you say, okay, bet. We're going to talk about that. So, with that said, let's just jump into the show.
All right, let's get into it. Well, today, we got a really, really special show for y'all today.
Yeah,
so
a little bit of everything.
We got a little bit of everything for real. And as you can see by the setup, it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit everywhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by catching up on the last week or so. And really the highlight for both of us was we recently went to the Black Man Hike LA Juneteenth celebration.
Yep.
Just give us a little bit of background on the event and just like the reasoning behind it, and then we'll talk about our experience with it.
Okay, bet. So once again, let you folks know I'm part of a group called Black Man Hike LA. We're a group of black men that meet up first Saturday of every month, and we get together and hike as a group. So usually it's just pretty much just a safe space where black men can feel comfortable and be themselves in the outdoors. And it was started by a good brother of mine, Jelani Nate. And he did it back in 2019 based on mental health. That's really what made him start it out. And he felt recharged when he was outdoor, and he just wanted to make sure other people can experience that. Start out with 5 people. And as you saw on that Saturday, how many people showed up for an event.
Man, it was crazy.
So maybe 150, maybe 200 people was out there. Something ridiculous for the hike. So usually it's all men. That's what we meet up with. But 2 hikes of the month, they're co-ed. And they're usually around the big event. So one we have during Black History Month in February, and another one we have in June for a Juneteenth hike. And that's what the hike that we had this last weekend. And that's the one you came out with me, bro. And I feel it was a success. I hope you really enjoyed yourself. We'll try to catch up and get some highlights. But while we're doing that, we're also going to bring you guys another Just the Glazed Donut review.
Yeah.
So this time we're not reviewing somebody else's shit. We're going to do our own shit.
One item.
And we don't know if we should do this again.
So y'all let us know if y'all like this or not.
And what we're going to catch up about the hike while eating something. And the thing we're going to review is catch one of our shorts on YouTube where we you see us in this process of making what is Oxtail Sushi. And that's what we have laid out in front of us. We have not tasted it. We did the whole process, cut it up, and said we're going to eat this on the episode and give you guys a full-on reaction and say, oh, damn, if this was at a restaurant, you should go there. But if this is the glazed donut he presenting to you, then you shouldn't fuck with this.
So just to orient everybody who's watching, we have 2 rolls. We have one and each of the rolls have oxtails and collard greens in them. One with proper sushi rice, the other with some standard white rice. We have a litany of dipping sauces. So we got some collard green juice. We got some sriracha. We got some oxtail gravy. We got a little Crystal's hot sauce because you know how we get down in the black community. And then we got some chili sauce. So we got a nice little black Asian or black Japanese fusion popping off here. So with that being said, let's get in it.
The first taste gonna be nothing. All right, I'm about to just go ahead and grab that. Here we go. I fucks with that. Well, see, I'm not lying to you.
That was legit, bro.
That shit good. It's like
oh my God.
It's like a flavor explosion. Because everything kind of comes at you at different times. Oh, shit. My bad. I'm talking about bull.
You get the seaweed immediately.
You get that first, because that's what's on the outside layer. So you get this first, bam, sushi. Hit you quickly. Damn, that's kind of weird. But as you start to chew it, the flavors start to, unfold. So first I got a green hit, because it, immediately matched with the seaweed. You're like, that's greens. But as you start to get deeper into it, to the center, that's when the oxtail just kind of kick at the tail end. So it's like this flavor roller coaster, and I can't explain it. That's dope. With nothing, it's not dipped in shit. It's just me eating it.
So it was a little different for me, right? So initially seaweed.
Okay.
Next was rice vinegar from the sushi because I got the sushi rice. Then it was oxtails, and mine finished with greens. So I got a collard green finish on this one. Yeah, this hits.
This is still silky dope.
So now I want to get one of yours because you got.
Yeah.
You get one of mine here. Take this one because that one will actually pull.
Good luck. I don't know which one you're gonna grab. I'm gonna
grab the one on the end
because I ain't know what I was doing. I cut that shit. It might not be tight enough. And that ain't proper sushi rice, and that shit ain't holding. Okay, here we go. Nah, that's it.
This is the one.
It's that damn sushi rice.
The rice vinegar, it gives you just another layer.
It's not that it's better. It's just different. It's there. So, okay. All right. I can get y'all a full review now. I think that this sushi rice gives it more of an Asian feel. So if you're trying to look for an authentic, you a sushi connoisseur and you just love sushi, I think you would have to make yourself the sushi rice. Now, if you're just a regular motherfucker, like myself, just a casual human being, you're just trying to make some new shit, but you ain't trying to like scare nobody, this the one to go with. Because this shit is just like eating oxtails. It's like eating oxtails and rice with greens just wrapped up.
Right. I would say
that gives it too much sushi.
What's going to take, for me personally, I would, as is with no dipping sauce, I prefer the sushi rice over standard rice for a couple of reasons. Number one, it holds better. Number two, I think the rice vinegar gives it something extra that this doesn't quite give it. So, but I think with this gravy though, with the regular, that's going to hit where it might do something to mess this up over here.
You might need more like soy
something on that. Yes.
Spices.
Correct.
This is your savory. This is like, you trying to bring a black charcuterie board to the party?
Charcuterie.
You put this shit on there. You get this oxtail sushi. You throw that shit on there. Some random shit like some cornbread.
What the fuck is this?
Some little wings on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Just black shit on that
a black charcuterie board?
A black charcuterie board.
A black charcuterie board?
A black charcuterie board. I did that shit at my family function for Christmas not too long ago. They said we was a potluck. We was all bringing some shit together. I made a black charcuterie board. It had random black shit on there. I forgot little wings, had a little fried shrimp.
Oh my God.
Just black shit on there. Cornbread was on that motherfucker, little biscuits, a little rosemary. You just make this shit could definitely be on the black charcuterie board.
Funny.
All day. All day, bro.
So I'm gonna grab this one.
Yes, sir.
I'm actually gonna try this one in the oxtail gravy and see how it hit.
That's the one I want to try too. But I do want to just try some basic shit, just some hot sauces and soy sauce. I didn't cut this shit good. Look, y'all, I don't know what I'm doing, okay? I don't know how to make sushi, but I know how to make some damn oxtails. The oxtails is hidden, so don't trip. My oxtails are just good. Y'all can fuck this one up. I'm going to start over. Next one.
Yeah. That one is gravy.
Okay, oxtail gravy.
It give it like a little...
Ooh, shit, I didn't drop my whole shit in there.
To give it got like a little spice too. It got a little.
Oh yeah, I make hot ass oxtail. Sorry, bro, it's hot as fuck.
It got no. I like the spice. It got a kick to it that I really feel. But it's not too much. It's like spice from the flavor, not from just being like straight heat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. So I stand corrected. The gravy hits whether it's sushi rice or regular rice. I stand corrected.
God damn.
Man, okay. So next I'm going in this collard green. I'm going in these collard greens, bro.
Which one is the sriracha? I'm trying the sriracha.
Sriracha is hold on.
That look a little thin to be sriracha.
Yeah, that's crystals. So that's sriracha.
Yeah, this looks thicker right here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna try to dip no more. I'm gonna just turn to the side and pour it on there.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've been fucking up because I ain't cut this shit good. That's my fault though.
Yeah.
I was all scared.
All right, I'm gonna go in the greens.
Now I got some sriracha. Boom, boom, boom. Right there.
Green juice. Come on, don't be like that. Don't be like that. There we go.
I might put a little green juice on the top of it though. That's sriracha, boy. Now, to be fair, I just like sriracha. So
I'm not a huge sriracha fan, if I'm being honest.
I fuck with sriracha. So that just might be because I like sriracha. Because I poured a bunch of that shit. That shit tastes delicious.
The green juice is like, because it's kind of like, it has soy sauce in it. So it gives you a little bit of that
So you can enjoy your secrets. You let them know you put soy sauce in your greens.
Yeah, so, man, it is what it is.
It's okay. I'll let folks know my recipe too. All right.
I'm not mad at it.
Now, folks, I know I'm over here introducing a new product to the world. And some of y'all are, real capitalists and pirates out here. Like, I'm going to go ahead and make that shit. I'm going to tell you right now, oxtails ain't easy to make. So you might fuck up and put some nasty ass shit out there. Like, to make my oxtails, it takes me like 4 hours. And that's not even the prep time. That's just the cooking. What I mean by prep time, black folks, we clean our shit. So cleaning, don't misinterpret it. It ain't like we just washing it in soap and shit. So for me, cleaning for meat, especially like oxtails, lately, these cows is fat. It's a lot of fat on the tail of the oxtail. So you buy a 4-pound pack of oxtails. When I'm done cleaning, I done lost 1.5 pounds just gonna take all this damn fat off. Because I use really sharp knives and stuff. So my quality of my meat when I cook it comes out a little different as the end product. So you can try all you want to try to go recreate this shit, but you might have nasty ass oxtails and people they're gonna do a just glazed donut review
on your ass
and be like, this shit is nasty. Where'd you get that shit from? Don't come blame us. Don't be saying, oh, them motherfuckers on the podcast. Okay, bet said that shit was good. This shit nasty. It might be your oxtail. So just putting that out there. But yeah, this shit right here hitting.
This shit hitting. All right. So now that we got the review,
let's go ahead and get back to the discussion.
You've been to these events before,
I've been to a couple. How was it for you? This is your first time, bro.
So it was such a dope event, man. Like, just number one, like, just for context for people that don't know, even though I'm from the South and grew up in the South, like, Juneteenth as a holiday wasn't really a holiday that was celebrated in like my family or even in like the communities of people that I was around. Like, it wasn't until I moved out here, and really, if I'm being honest, it wasn't until I started watching Atlanta, the season finale of season 1 of Atlanta, the Juneteenth episode. That was one of my introductions to it, which I think says a lot about kind of like education system, but also, like, I think there are a lot of people in this country that look like me and look like us that don't know about that holiday or don't know that history, right? And there's probably reasons why. There's probably some systemic reasons why.
Yeah.
And so for me, just to be able, it's always dope when a collection of Black people can come together and do things like hiking or, and just be in community and be in fellowship with each other. And it's on like good vibes and positivity and on an uplifting tip. And that was exactly what this experience was. The hike was one of the hardest things I've ever done. Let's be honest.
Yeah, so what was it, Crystal Cove?
Yeah, Crystal Cove and
Laguna.
It was one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Fucking incline, man. That incline to the left is some bullshit. I tell everybody all the time,
bro.
That incline will whoop your ass if you don't hike.
It's
just incline for 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was a 4.5 mile hike. 1.5 miles of that was uphill or on the incline, right?
Yeah.
And most of the hike for me at least was on cloud cover.
Yeah.
And once I got to the flat part, that's when the sun came out. But we got so for the people, we got separated because James is an ambassador for the group, and you know what I'm saying, and that was also another really great like thing for me, was just like seeing you in a different element, seeing you in a different context, seeing how much love and influence you have within that circle of people and within that community, and just how much love they have for you. Like, it was really great to see that for you. But like, my intention for the hike and for that day was obviously to be amongst my people, but most importantly was to share that experience with you, right?
Yeah.
And so I felt some kind of way because like we got separated because you were on the job, like you had to hang back with some people, and I didn't realize it. And I'm almost done with the hike, and I'm like, man, I done did this damn near this whole hike, low key, not by myself, but like without achieving the intention that I set out to achieve.
Yeah.
So I ended up coming back to meet up with you and the people that you were helping get through the hike. And yeah, man,
got cooked.
Got my ass. Toasted my ass, bruh.
And I know it looked weird, like You see me when I'm out there like dancing and shit?
Yeah.
Like I'm just dancing on the incline.
He was dancing on the incline with a 30-pound book bag on his back with first aid kits and liquid IV and extra water bottles.
In the hot ass sun.
Hot ass sun with these thick ass overalls on.
And I'm in my element. I got my old school. I had my 80s playlist on, 80s, 90s, 2000, early 2000s R&B. So I'm just, I'm grooving all kind of just jams. Just got me in my little zone.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's like I've always just learned that like I can't like dim my light for other folks. Because even if you're in a distressing situation, I'm not gonna respond to your distress.
Mm-hmm.
Like these people were really out here about to like they getting cooked.
Yeah,
they was out here dying.
They was having a hard time.
The incline was whooping that ass.
Yeah,
but I'm just like. I'm on the incline dancing and shit, and I'm waiting with you. I'm gonna wait with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make sure you good. I got ADHD. I can do more than one thing. I can chew gum and walk. So I'm dancing and shit, but I am being fully aware of like what I'm watching here. Are you about to pass out? Are you about to fall? Do I have to get this water bottle out? Do you need these electrolytes? Do I need to radio somebody back? I'm not just being distracted, but for me, this is how I cope with everything in life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just stand in the sun. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I still got to have a good time on this hike. And I don't care. And they know I don't like the back. Tell the guys all the time, I hate the back. But I'm here now. And this is where I'm at, but I'm still going to enjoy myself. So that's why I was still grooving and dancing, even though this hike only takes me 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm out here 2.5 now because the circumstances, but I'm going to groove and have a good time. But I think that energy also translated to the people in the back.
Oh, 100%.
They still was out there. They was out there drowning.
Yeah, but they never quit,
and their spirit was still high. I think the whole time.
Yeah, and so I ended up doubling back. So
you did too.
So I basically walked. So the hike was 4.6 miles, if I'm not mistaken, total. The loop that we took.
Yeah.
So I ended up doubling back, probably close to a mile, maybe a little over a mile.
So I straight stretch.
Yeah. So I walked
shit because I still on the incline.
Yeah. So I did over 5 miles, so 5.5 miles, and then we went from the hike to a beach cookout, which was super dope.
Yeah.
Except for one thing, ladies and gentlemen. There was one beach access point, and it was through a tunnel. And the tunnel was knee to thigh deep water. So we lugging wagons and chairs and umbrellas. Bruh, if that didn't feel like some Underground Railroad type shit, bruh, I was like, man, if this isn't the most apropos Juneteenth type shit, my guy. Like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, why is this the tunnel? Go left to the beach. Yes.
Unless you really try to keep black people out. Because we don't want to go through that goddamn water to get to this beach. It's the only way to get to this beach.
Hey, man.
It's the only access. It's through this dark tunnel with this 10 inch to 12 inch water. And I got to get my feet wet.
Bruh, we done waited through enough water.
Man.
We done waited.
Black folks, we don't want to get wet.
But I will say, though, so we were in Laguna. And I think one of the things that really stood out to me, how safe I felt. And obviously, like, you feel safe in numbers, right?
Yeah.
But even as we're going to and from the beach, right, getting stuff across, I think it speaks to the level of humanity that is still out there. There were random ass white people who didn't know us from Adam, who had there was no incentive for them to be good Samaritans or to help us. And they literally helped us carry stuff across that tunnel back and forth. And on the way out, and this is where it gets a little shaky for your boy. On the way out, I was like, James, I have this much left in my tank, bro. Like, this is all I got. You know what I'm saying? After that 5.6 miles, after lugging that joint to the beach, being out in the sun, even though we had an umbrella and just like it was such a great time.
And
like,
you're on a beach with salt water that's pulling that
moisture out of you. I was like, bro, I can get us across this tunnel one more time, and that's all I got for the rest of the day. And we got there, and there was this family, and they were like, do y'all need help? And we were like, yes, we do. And she was like, give me as much stuff as you can. I got 2 free hands. And it was it was a young family. They had like 2 young kids.
Babies too.
He had a baby in his hand. He literally had a baby on his chest. Like,
don't worry, I
got it.
Go ahead, Dad.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dad.
You a real one, bro. So I think, again, like, that part of it just spoke to the humanity that still exists out there. I think just listening to the news and just like kind of
Yeah.
just like understanding what's going on in our world and in particular in our country right now, and some of the awful things that are happening to people and some of citizens and non-citizens of our country. I think it was such a refreshing reminder that there are still good people out there, indiscriminate of race, religion, creed, sexual orientation, all of those things. And the cookout was amazing. It was so great to meet all of the homies that you really have vibed with and have built relationships with, and for them to just like shine so much light back on you. And so it was an A+ event for me. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. You know what I'm saying? And for context, like I'm no scrub, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a couch potato. Like I'll be out here, like I'm not running miles every week, but like what I do for work is very physical. It's demanding on your body.
But hiking is
a different beast.
And I keep telling people it's technically walking, but you're using so many other muscles, and then depending on what kind of footwear you got, that might put an extra job on you.
Mm-hmm.
Your work might be harder.
Plus the elevation,
the changes, the incline. These are just things you don't think about until you in that situation. And then unfortunately, a lot of folks have FOMO, and they'll see an event like, oh, Juneteenth hike, and they just jump in on it. But I be like, yo, y'all got to get y'all conditioning together, like low key, because this is dangerous. At the end of the day, you can literally pass out and die out here. And I be taking that. I take that aspect of it serious, of me being like an ambassador. And at the end of the day, I'm not a firefighter, none of that shit. So you really get fucked up, 911 getting caught, I'm going
Yep.
But I have a different level of conditioning that I'm now starting to really recognize it, especially with me being 40. And I'm like, I helped lug all that stuff in the morning, did a whole hike, lugged the stuff afterward, stayed in the back, dancing, chilling, going with the homies, playing with my nieces and nephews. They was there too. So I'm playing water balloons and shit with them out there at the beach and running back and forth and meeting folks. I like, damn, okay, I gotta give myself a pat on the shoulder. Like, damn. You're holding me down for my age.
You're
you know
in
what I'm saying?
You're in peak condition, bro.
So, but it just took time to get there. It ain't something that happened overnight. It's just staying active a little bit every day, and just the accumulation of everything kind of now got me where I'm at. And I'm like, hey, shit, all right, I felt good after that hike. Let's go do some more shit.
Yeah.
I think I tried to go skating after it. I probably did. I can't remember, but
yeah, but I mean, I think like speaking of kind of getting towards the end, like, and I think this is going to tie in very nicely into what we really want to talk about today, which is it's Men's Mental Health Month this month, in June.
It's a lot of M's.
It is, yeah. It's a tongue twister now. My goodness. And so like at the end of the event, right? Like I get back to the car and I'm starting not to feel so good, right? Like I'm feeling the toll of the day taking its toll on my body, so to speak. And I've had moments in the past where like, I played a really long tennis match and was super dehydrated and ended up, going into full body cramps and having to go to the hospital or whatever to get like fluids and whatnot. And I was starting, like my foot started cramping up. And
I didn't know how serious this shit was.
Yeah. So my foot started, so when you went to the restroom, right before we left, my foot started cramping up, and I was like, fuck this. I was like, and so for me, it was one of those things where it was like, it uncovered a trauma that I didn't know still was there, right? Number one, because it immediately took me back to those two very specific instances. Like I remember both of those instances like it was yesterday. And as we were in the car, you were driving, and we were getting back, and we ended up, and like, I just was just like, hey, bro, like, I'm really not feeling that well. Like, I think I need water. I need electrolytes, da, 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 da. So I think it says a lot about how much I've grown in my journey, in the sense that, like, there would have been a time where I would not have felt comfortable voicing my needs in that moment, because it would have come off as weak or, not tough or like I'm not capable of. Right, exactly. And so, but like, you were absolutely amazing. Ashley was incredible, because I ended up like legitimately having a panic attack about this as we got closer to getting back to your spot, for me to go home. And I was like, I don't think I can go home. And like, you and Ash were just amazing throughout the entire process, from getting me right, from, getting the things that I needed from an electrolyte standpoint, but also just like being there from a mental and emotional standpoint. and keeping me calm in a moment where it could have gone much differently.
Shit could have went left.
And I think that is aspect of mental health. And I think an earlier version of me, someone who wasn't in therapy, who didn't see the value of leaning into that personal growth, I could have had a very different outcome. And I think it's a combination of how you all helped me get through that moment, but also the things that I've been doing to actually acknowledge and work on myself has been like, that was the saving grace in that moment. And so I think it'll be cool for us to just take a moment to kind of talk a little bit about each of our like mental health journeys, kind of how you started and now where you at, what things help to help provide you that mental health, that self-care, that solace that you need to keep going in this difficult time that we live in.
Yeah, especially right now. I feel like for me, mental health it's not like the emergency pull line on a train and just make everything stop. That's not what it's going to do. Whatever the fuck you're going through, going to keep rolling.
Mm-hmm.
The train's going to keep going through the station. So whatever crisis you in, you already in that bitch. What it does help you with is more like I guess like a life preserver. So let's say you in the middle of the ocean. It helps you float.
Right.
It don't take you out of the situation. It just helps you survive and navigate what you're in. So it's like having a compass when you're lost. It's like having a life vest when you're in the water. It's like having a fire extinguisher when there is fire. It ain't going to prevent things from catching on fire. It's not going to prevent the train from crashing. It's not going to prevent any crisis from happening in your life. It just helps you to navigate when you're in those.
Right.
And I think that's where the misconception has been with how the world is now. Everyone's freaking out because they aren't prepared. Now they want to go get the mental health. And I'm like, you're already in the shit. You kind of have to do the work early. And that's where like I love when you said, I'm glad I've been working on the mental health before, because it would have probably turned out a lot different. I also feel like if I had not already been working on my mental health, I wouldn't have been as cognizant of what the fuck is going on.
Right. And
know how to navigate it. I probably just say, let's go get fucked up, bro. Like, let's just, you know what I'm saying? That would have been my answer. Like, that's why I'm like, what it means to me is like, it's like levels to this shit. I say, there's levels to mental health, and like going down my list of like things I did, I feel like there's low level, and then there's like these mid and high level activities. For me, like low level would have been like, if I'm going through some shit back in college, just fuck bitches and get drunk. That's how that was. Hey, fuck that. That's how I'm gonna get through all this shit. And with that said, you know, if I did some bullshit back in the day, like if I just fucked the shit out of you and disappeared and just was a motherfucking fuck boy, I apologize. That was some low level bullshit I was doing. So, you know, I apologize to all them ladies and all that shit when I was on that low frequency vibration shit. That's just how I was getting down, I guess, to deal with my shit. So, and then when I say there's mid level to high level, those are like activities such as like therapy. For me, acupuncture is one of them. The roller skating I do, and the hiking, you know, cooking food, how we did right here. This is part of that, making that process, the plants that we got. Oh my God. And for me, it was my emotional support animal, which is, I hate to share this news because I'm devastated doing this episode, y'all. Memphis passed away literally today.
Hours
before doing this. So yeah. I'm fucking going through it a little bit because I didn't think I'm gonna get attached to the little frog, but shit, that was my emotional support little buddy. He was supposed to be on this episode with us in a little cage, and I went to go get him when I got back from hiking today, and he didn't make it. I don't know what the fuck happened. So it was just like overnight.
Which is a perfect example of what you mean. Like, life is still gonna happen, but how do you respond? How do you cope? How do you get through? And yeah,
I'm not busting the fucking fish tank. I'm not cussing out people next door. I'm not taking my shit out on other people. I'm not going to go beat up somebody. That's why I feel like there's low levels and high levels to this shit. How do you respond to it? Is it like, oh, I'm going to go party and just go get turned up and shit? Or is it like, what constructive things can I do? And now I try to do a lot more mid-level to high-level things that are more constructive.
Yeah,
I roller skate a fucking lot. Like my skates, I got custom skates and shit. I don't know if you can see them, but I got my van skates. I do that a lot, and doing it once a week is just a mental health thing for me, but it's also a physical thing for me.
Right.
Because you see it, my conditioning now for hiking is high as fuck because I skate every fucking week. But then the same thing helps for my always hiking.
Yeah,
my skating.
They're helping each other.
And then I do a physical job where I actually got to be wearing tools and doing a lot of walking, so now I can walk more at work. I don't have to take off my tools. I can wear my 20-pound tools with no problem because I'm wearing this 25-pound hiking backpack every time I go. So everything is supposed to be building upon each other and making you better for when crisis is hit. And I'm just like, okay, we need to, like, it's not going to save you, and stop thinking it's a fix. We got to get off this pill. There's a pill for everything. That's not real. That's a delusion. That's what we're being fed to make us buy things. And I'm like, we got to start thinking about what's the holistic system of how does life really operate.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing in nature, you just took a pill and the shit went away.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we believe that is how things really work. You can't just do one thing and everything goes away. There are levers of influence that sometimes you hit this one switch, everything changes. But those take time to find. And sometimes you got to build other things first to make sure that one switch will work. And I think that's how therapy is. It's like, it's over time. Because imagine me, myself, I didn't start going to therapy till like, been going since 2019, so since 34. Essentially, I got 34 years of trauma. Just from all kind of stuff, family, whatever. I'm expecting that to be fixed in less than 34 years. Like, if I just be realistic about it.
Yeah, that's not a realistic expectation.
So I come into this thinking like, okay, it's just something I might be rocking with for a minute. It may never get fixed, but as long as you keep rocking that direction. And that's like, for me, like the main pieces for like that misconception of like, we supposed to be callous to everything and then we ain't supposed to feel nothing. No, you still can be angry and be aware, but you can still have, you don't have to, when you show empathy, it doesn't mean you're depressed.
Right.
When you actually care about something, you don't have to be angry, because sometimes therapy helps you so you don't get angry when you see some messed up stuff happen. You don't get depressed when you see somebody in a messed up situation. It has you ability to see it, assess it, and either work internally or do something externally than just go into a place of despair. And I'm like, all right, we got to get some of these misconceptions up out of here, man. Like, just let me let you go for a minute. I'm just talking.
Yeah,
I got
no,
notes.
nah, bro. You
know what I'm saying?
You are 100% in your bag right now. So I appreciate everything that you said. I mean, I think for me personally, like, you know, like taking it all, like really all the way back to like childhood and whatnot. You know, like I was raised obviously in the South. I was also raised in the church, and I think one of the misconceptions around religion and in particular Christianity is like that is your therapy. And I think for me, like I think as I've gotten older and as I got older, religion wasn't really a safe space for me. It was more repressive. It was more guilt stricken. It didn't really give me the freedom or the release that I thought I needed, or that I felt that I needed. If anything, I think it made me hide more aspects of myself. And I think that's a lot of people's experience, unfortunately. And I'm not saying that like if you use religion or Christianity as self-care, like more power to you, keep doing what you're doing, especially if it's working. But for me personally, in my own experience, like that was something that didn't really work for me long term. And so to your point, I was doing these low level things, right? So whether it was drinking, whether it was partying, whether it was just ignoring it altogether, right? Or just saying, no, I'm fine, it's good.
And frivolous spending,
right?
Yeah,
exactly. And then or just like trying to lose myself in sports, right? Like those types of things, right? And so you know, so for me, it was really one of these things. Like it truly has been like this coming of age story, because there were so many situations when I was growing up where I always felt kind of lesser than, or I had like these limiting beliefs, or like I was literally like the only Black person in the room, because I grew up in I went to a predominantly white school system. I played a predominantly white sport. And so I got really good at code switching. I got really good at showing people who they're comfortable seeing, as opposed to who I'm comfortable being and who I truly am.
Ooh, that's a bar right there.
And so and it showed up everywhere. It showed up at school. It showed up at work. It showed up at home. It showed up everywhere. I was being who people expected me to be, and not who I truly was or who I truly am. And it wasn't until everything stopped for me a few years ago, when my body was just like, bro, you doing too much. Sit the fuck down. Matter of fact, don't even sit the fuck down. Lay the fuck down.
I'm gonna lay you down.
I'm gonna lay you down. And literally, I had an unexplained fever for like almost 2 months. Couldn't figure it out. Couldn't figure it out.
2-month fever?
Almost, yeah. It was like a 6 to 8 week fever. And I got labs, I got tests, I got all types of things poked and prodded to, like, we thought it might have been cancer. We thought it might have been some type of autoimmune thing. And everything came back fine for pretty much, and never figured out what it was. And so I chalked it up to the fact that I was holding so much stress, trauma, weight, burden in my body, in my tissues at the cellular level, that my body was like, nope, you got to deal with this now. And the crazy thing is like, my wife had been trying to get me to lean into therapy for pretty much our entire relationship. And at this point, we had been married for, almost 3, maybe 4 years, and had been together for close to at least a decade, maybe a little bit longer at this point. And so it wasn't until that situation happened that I was like, all right, I have to actually make a change and really invest in myself. And to your point, it wasn't this overnight thing, right? Because like, again, at that point, I think I was like 37 years into my existence here on earth. And it was a slow build. But what was so rewarding about being in therapy was just, to your point, not the fact that like things got better, like life didn't really change necessarily, but I changed.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing that I've learned in my therapy is that it is okay for me to be exactly who the fuck I am. It is okay for me to be me and authentically me. And the people that rock with me are going to rock with me regardless.
Yeah.
And the people that don't rock with me or are hesitant to rock with me because I don't fit in their box or because I don't meet their expectation, then that's not the community that I need, and that's not the community that I need to be around. And so if anything, therapy has opened up my world, because I am so much more comfortable in my own skin now. And it has just made life so much easier to get through and to move through. And so to you, the same thing with you, like plants is my thing. Love gardening. Me and my wife have a little veggie garden that we do. Like I literally, like the collard greens that I made for the show today.
That's part of
onions from our garden. You know what I'm saying? Right. And we got some tomatoes coming in. But even just like, for me, like cooking has become a part of therapy. Watching sports is obviously, like, bro, like I love me some sports, man. So like that's another part of therapy and self-care for me. Just being outside on our patio, just like hanging out with the homies, getting that guy time in, but also spending that quality time with my wife. Like all of those things are things that repair me, that restore me, and that feed me and give me the energy and the wherewithal to keep pushing forward. And the more positive feedback that I've gotten since I've been in therapy, it just makes me want to dig deeper and get better and continue to push forward, because I see the growth, I see the improvement. And you go ahead, bro, take off.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It was a couple points I think I wanted to chime in on. I think it was something you said about like religion.
Yeah. What are your? Because I know that like there was a point like right around the time like Chelsea and I was getting married, so just before the pandemic, like there was like maybe like a 2 or 3 year stretch where you were going to church pretty tough.
I'm going to the same church my whole life.
Like really, like really, really tough.
Most of them.
So what has been your experience as it relates to using religion or Christianity in a self-care or kind of mental health, kind of helper situation? Is that something for you? Did you feel like you couldn't really be who you were? Like what was your experience with that, with religion?
I went to a predominantly I guess we would say a predominantly white church, but it was multiracial. Like the reason why we went there is because my brother's oldest daughter passed away back in like 1998, 99. And I had never been to church before. I only go to churches when somebody passed away. So that's why I went to church around like probably 12, 13. And then we were staying in Long Beach at this time with my granny, and our neighbor was on our way to church, and we was leaving late. Like, it was like 11:30. Like, you leaving for church at 11? The shit? My mom thinking church, she was raised in the church, so she thought church was high and long and all day. And he was like, no, my church down the street. Y'all should come. It was a black lady. So he went to this church called Cottonwood Christian Center. So out here, it wasn't at the time in Los Alamitos. Now it's in Cypress, big ass mega church now. But back in the day, it was a little smaller church, maybe, congregation of maybe like 700 at a time could be in there. There's one big ass auditorium. But now, I mean, they can do services like 3,500 to 10,000 people now. Something ridiculous. But at the time, I'm like, I'm what you consider a centric black dude. I've been skateboarding my whole life. So yeah, I'm from Compton, but we just a little different, big white tees, Jinko pants, we skateboard and shit, wearing Dickies, all that. So my mom was like, they ain't got church clothes. You gotta have church clothes. She was like, no, they fine. Like, them big ass white tees? Like, she was like, yeah, they're cool.
Come as you are.
Came as we are.
For real this time?
Came in skateboard shoes, fucking big ass white t-shirts. Wasn't the issue. Welcoming, got the little, especially they give you donuts. They give you donuts. That won me. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't want to hear none of this shit anyway. So donuts got me one. Fast forward, I've been going to that church my whole life. Because in my mind, I base church off of, they don't have no dress code. People just wearing whatever the fuck they want in here. So if your church got me having to wear, I got to put on anything, I'm not going. I only wear suits to interviews and funerals. But church should be somewhere I should feel free. So for a very long time, I felt very comfortable in that aspect. The thing that kind of made me dial back my church going, I haven't really been since like the beginning of the pandemic. And it was actually started before the pandemic. As I got older, I started to be more cerebral about my existence as a black man in this world. Just a lot of bullshit going on. I'm just like, damn, there's so much shit happening to people that look like me, and it's like nobody really gives a fuck, and nothing changes. And the one that stood out for me was when Philando Castile got killed. On that traffic stop, he had the right to carry his gun, the whole nine, and they just shot him up, and nothing ever came of it. The officer didn't get prosecuted. It's just like, just chucked it up as a loss, and especially as many times he been pulled over. At the time, we had a youth pastor that he's now the head pastor, the lead pastor, but he had brought up this incident and basically was like essentially condemning it. And I was like, oh, bad. We got somebody here speaking on some black shit. And like he's saying that the church is supposed to be the place that speak on these type of things that happen in our society. After that sermon, shit, I didn't see that man for like 3-4 months. They benched his ass. Like, I'm like, damn, they're gonna bench him? I'm taking note of this shit. I'm sitting in the back like, well, why y'all not bringing this in? They haven't talked about this shit again. I mean, the whole country is up in a roar.
Right. Yeah, because Philando Castile was the precursor to George Floyd.
That's why I want to fast forward to that. So we fast forward. Of course, it had a couple more happen before that.
Right.
And then George Floyd is the one that just sparked out.
Yeah.
But when this one sparked out, all of a sudden my church is black screened out on Instagram. They're talking about George Floyd in the church, but I'm like, you guys were like radio silent on the last 3 that happened before it, and one of the pastors who tried to bring it up, it seemed like y'all benched him. To me, it felt performative.
Yeah.
It felt inauthentic, and I ain't been back. So I ain't been in my church in 5 years. I'm like, cool. Popped in on Mother's Day just last year just to like kick it with my mama for a second, but I was late as shit then, because I'm just like, this ain't the place for me. Because I felt like my number one pastor is Martin Luther King. He just was that pastor. Like, he just out here speaking on it. And not this sanitized version that they celebrate. Because in my mind, you can't celebrate somebody you shot in the chest.
Yeah. That you plotted to kill.
You didn't like him that much. Right. So, you know what I'm saying? He would always be against the grain. He put together boycotts that lasted for over years. You know what I'm saying? It was like a year and a half they had the boycott in Alabama. Maybe it seemed like it was overnight thing. They literally had to do Uber. Like, they had to drive people back and forth, but they was not taking the bus. So I just say this because I feel like we get caught up in this thing. Like, I see the world in just shapes and shit. So imagine a Venn diagram with circles, right? On one side of the circle, you got things you know. That's one circle. And then you got this other circle with things you don't know. And in the middle, there's this overlap. And in that middle is what you actually believe. People take what they believe as what they know. And they act out on it as if they know it, when it really could be something that they don't know because it's just something they believe. And then to make this even more complicated, imagine another circle that is things that are true. That's one circle. And then another circle is things that are a complete lie. The overlap in the two of those is also things you believe. And for some reason, people, when they believe something, they act like it is the truth. It really could be a lie. And when you put all 4 of these together, you got this one little small circle in the spot in the middle of things you believe in that actually is the truth, and you know it. You know how small that percentage is?
Yeah.
And people are running around with this little piece in the middle that they believe in, that they are telling me that what they believe is true, and they know it, and they can prove to me that it's not a lie, and that they actually know it and they don't know it. I'm sitting there looking like, man, that to me is a straw. You looking at the world through a straw, and our whole world is a basketball.
Right.
So to me, every religion is right, but also wrong.
Yep.
So from whatever religious lens you're looking at the world, to me, you are right from your lens, but you're looking through a straw at something that's three-dimensional with texture.
You're seeing
surface.
Such a small percentage.
Are you looking at the seam of the basketball?
Or do you get the ripples?
Are you getting the little bumpy parts?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Are you getting the part that's worn out from hitting the basketball court a couple times?
Are you getting a little bit of the logo?
Is it just the spigot that just blows it up? What are you looking at through this little ass straw? And for me, it takes every damn religion on the planet to actually see what our reality is.
Right.
You aren't the only one that's right. You're right. These Buddhists is right. These Muslims is right. These Christians is right. And just because you are right don't mean these other people are wrong.
Correct.
You just seeing a little piece of it.
Yeah.
Because no one can see the whole thing from every perspective.
Right.
And who has the capacity to really walk in each spiritual practice to see it from their lens so they can know what they're seeing?
Right.
No one can do that. It takes a long time just to figure out one religion. It takes a whole lifetime.
That part, and also like it's frowned upon.
Yeah.
To party hop, so to speak.
Exactly.
Right? In that regard. I'll say this because you brought up something that was really interesting, speaking about kind of this idea of seeing the world through a straw, right? And just having that very, very small myopic lens. Because I've always kind of, and this is one of the things that I've struggled with Christianity, is like this idea of salvation, right? And like if you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart that Jesus is your Lord and Savior, that you will be saved and you get to go to heaven, and everybody else who doesn't do that, they go to hell, right? Like they get damned, they get sent to eternal damnation, even though like they were good people, even though they did right by themselves and by others, right? And so that's something that I've always struggled with. And it made me, just you saying that made me kind of think about this in these terms. And my wife has really kind of helped me kind of open my perspective to this, because I was very rigid in that from a very young age, because I grew up in the church. Like my parents were like legitimate ministers in the church. My parents still have their own church. So I get that, like, me saying what I'm saying right now might not jive with what my parents believe, but again, I'm comfortable enough with who I am at this point in my life. And my parents know who I am at this point in my life, that I'm just going to speak my truth. You know what I'm saying? And that has to be okay. And so I'll never forget, I was working, and I had a patient who, he told me a story. He fell asleep at the wheel, got hit by a truck.
Ooh, shit.
And basically died momentarily. He momentarily died. This is what he describes. And I'm not, it's up to y'all to believe or not believe. I'm just going to tell you what he told me. And so like my jaw's on the floor, like we in the room, and I'm like, for real? Like, and he was like, when I died, or when I was not alive for that moment, all I felt was this like warmth. It was just like, he was like, it was just like getting one of the greatest like hugs. It was just like this overwhelming feeling of love and joy. And he didn't necessarily say that this being was God or whatever, but he said that there was a voice that basically said, and I'm going to paraphrase, he was like, I don't give a fuck about all this other shit. Like, I just want people to love each other. Like, it's about love. All this other stuff, all these other constraints, all these other guardrails and barriers and boxes that we put on religion to try and separate ourselves from this group or that group, or to make it feel more exclusive or more this or more elevated or whatever. Like, that's man-made shit. That's your bullshit. That's
behavioral modification.
Right. That's not what this higher being or this higher calling is about. It is about love. And, you know, you go back to the Bible, they say God is love. But it's hard to see that because a lot of his messengers are messaging something very different than what is the actual message. And I just thought like that was such a powerful moment for me. And that was a story that I needed to hear firsthand from that patient, because it really solidified this thing that I had been struggling with for a number of years since I was a child. And it just so very clearly crystallized that like, yeah, that makes so much sense. Like if you love other people and you pour into other people and are willing to be poured into, if you invest and are invested into, and you are in community with people and you try to be the best version of yourself, and you hope and you try to help other people do the same for them, then job well done. Like what else is there really for you to do / accomplish? Like, yeah, there are lots of like, you know, things that you can have, and there's a bunch of stuff. Yeah. But when it all boils down to it, like when it's all said and done, when you're on your deathbed, it's going to be about how much love did you spread and how much love did you receive? Exactly. And that's really what matters.
And I mean, hey, we just take things way too serious. Yeah. Like don't get me wrong, there is a seriousness to life, but for some reason it feel like the play has been taken out of it. Like it's all this, like you said, when you said that damnation and all, it just feel like it's too high stake.
The stakes are so high.
You don't want to love nobody because you're just like, oh, I only got one life to live and all this. Like, how do we know besides you reading something that told you? Last time I checked, we all come out of vagina and then you die. Ain't nobody else undid that. So whatever somebody telling you how this shit go, they don't know. That's why I said they believe something.
Right.
But the only way you gonna know is to die and bring your ass back. And it's saying that Jesus is the only one that did it, but the motherfuckers who telling you didn't do it themselves. To me, that's still secondhand account. They're reading a document and telling you what they believe. I don't care how they feel in their heart and all that confidence and faith and all that bullshit. Nobody know.
Yep.
And you shouldn't let that put you in a position where it's starting to change you for your detriment. Now, I'm not against it if it makes you better.
Right.
If you really is one of them,
if it's a part of your self-care and your mental and emotional health.
You become a Saul to Paul, where you was killing 300 Christians and all of a sudden you stop killing Christians, then more power to it. Whatever the hell they read to you made you stop killing people.
Yeah.
You really needed that. But if you ain't out here murdering people, then I don't think you need to feel too bad. You out here loving people already. I don't know. To me, like I said, it's a little too serious.
It's too serious. I agree.
And I think a lot of this just boils down to behavioral modification. They're trying to domesticate people. I'm just going to throw it out.
Yeah.
They're trying to turn people into cattle.
Yeah.
You want them to do something a specific way, and you're trying to control their mind. If people are too playful, too joyful, too happy, too enjoying themselves, you can't get them to go do shit. When I'm feeling good, you ain't getting my ass to go to work. I'm telling you right now, I don't give a fuck how much I love that shit. I'm not going to go do it. And I think that's, at the end of the day, that's what I think that seriousness comes from.
Yeah. And I
don't want you to be as playful and enjoying.
Yeah. I mean, I think religion has largely been about control for a number of years, for centuries in a lot of respects. And I think that has obviously created cognitive dissonance and has impacted people's mental health. I'm one of those people, right? And it wasn't until I open myself up to the idea that this isn't the only possibility that I feel like I felt more free. I felt like I had more autonomy. I felt like I had more options. I felt like the stakes were lower, and I genuinely enjoy life, even though shit is happening every single day. I can't tell you how much bullshit my wife and I have had to endure in the first 6 months of 2025. But what I know is that I am here for a reason. I'm going to enjoy this shit while I have it.
Yes.
I'm going to lean into the relationships and the people and the things that bring me joy and that I love the most. And I'm going to let the chips fall where they may, because bullshit is going to happen daily until we leave this earth.
Yeah.
But it is how you take it in stride, how you can continue to move forward and push forward in the midst of the bullshit. That's what this is all about. And so my final message to the audience and to myself and to us is continue to lean into the things that bring you joy.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to show who you are and be authentic to who you are.
Yeah.
And lean into that. And if you're and if you're a shitty person, you gonna find out soon enough.
Yeah,
because you gonna cross the wrong one and catch that fade.
Yes, and I let me add this note. You said pushing through. You said pushing through, and especially with religion. I don't want y'all to think that it's just we bashing religion and all that
No,
shit.
because I definitely feel like there's a time and a place for it, and I think it obviously brings something to the people that really swear by it. But I think where I lose it and where I think we've lost the plot is people are using it to control the bodies of others.
You want to know where I think they lost the plot? I'm gonna try to bring it full circle for our episodes.
Okay, let's go.
Read that shit. Y'all listening too goddamn much. You listening too fast.
Yeah.
If you actually open that book and read that red section, the parts that's in the New James Testament is usually red.
Yeah,
when
Jesus is speaking,
just read the red parts. If you read all the red parts from the New Testament to the end, just the red parts, a lot of the shit y'all doing ain't.
Oh, I get it. You said I'm gonna bring it full circle. Don't listen.
Don't listen. Go read that shit. If he say some shit, go read it.
So don't catch the audio book of the Bible.
If you do catch it, go. I'm saying, like, when you sitting in church, that's audio Bible. When he's talking to you,
that's fair,
and you're listening to the sermon, can you go back and just go read that?
Because let's
read it. I'm not saying just flipping pages. Like, there's something about when you read something from a beginning to an end, because for me, that's the difference between like a self-help book and a novel. Like, you have to have a skill set to tell a full story. Sometimes you got a self-help book, you can just throw it all together. I wrote a self-help book. Shit, only 50 pages. It don't take much effort to kind of put that shit together. But I still think it's written a certain way. And all you got to do is read it. And you start feeling uncomfortable with things people are telling you that this is what our religion said. I'm like, what? That ain't what I'm reading. That's not what I'm reading. I hear you saying it, but I'm not reading it.
Yeah.
Because they always say, oh, I got a verse to back it. But when you read it in full, that's usually crossed out.
Yeah.
There's something crossing that behavior out. Saying, that's how we used to be. It was used for a reference of where we were. And that this newer version is offsetting some of them old behaviors. And I'd be like, I challenge you, read it. And like, especially with going through things, another thing you mentioned was about you've been through so much in these first 6 months of this 2025. I think that's going to resonate with a lot of people out here because we just going through it as a group.
Everybody.
And like I say, y'all, just keep
going.
pushing through.
Keep going.
Because I guess
keep going.
I guess the suicide prevention line is getting canceled. So that shit is only around till like July. So I can imagine what kind of, I don't know how many people probably get saved from just jumping on that phone line, but don't think that's the only option you got. That's why we mentioned a lot of stuff that we do. Just do what you need to do. I'd say you got roller skating. They taking so many resources away from you. So many things you can do to make sure you keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah. And you
don't take this shit that serious. Just keep moving forward. That's why I try to make some little levity about it. Like, hey, keep going forward.
And you don't need a lot of money to find joy and happiness. No, I think that's another and that's that social media.
That's the delusion that they try to put out there.
Yeah.
You can't be happy and be poor.
Correct. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. So again,
some of the happiest people are poor.
Lean into what brings you joy and just keep dancing on that button until you can't dance on it no more.
Break that button.
Break the button.
Break the button
and then find another button.
Find another button to make a new button. You just got to find that little thing and just keep going forward. But don't let these folks. It's making it. They just taking this shit. There's some miserable people that feel it. If you just trying to be happy, it don't make no sense to me. Yeah. So don't let them get you.
Yeah.
And with that said, I guess.
All right, y'all. That's our episode for today. Man, that one really hit home in a lot of respects, especially with it being Men's Mental Health Month. And
shout out to Pride Month.
Shout out to Pride Month.
I ain't want to forget that. I'm going to talk about that today too. Is in my notes. So shout out to my folks.
Yeah. Shout out to the LGBTQ community.
My alphabets.
Love y'all, and also appreciate the struggle that you all are going through currently and continue to fight for day after day. So we stand with y'all in that regard. So yeah, man, y'all go out and like, subscribe, share, comment, let us know how you feel about the episode. And until next time, Ayati,
Stay casual.